Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a topic that's on everyone's mind and affecting all our lives, the poor state of the economy. Buckle up because this is going to be a passionate, no-holds-barred rant on why the current economy is failing us and why we should all be furious about it. The cost of living is out of control. Let's start with the elephant in the room, the cost of living. It's skyrocketed to absurd levels. Rent prices are through the roof, groceries cost a fortune, and don't even get me started on gas prices. How on earth are we supposed to survive, let alone thrive, when every basic necessity has become a luxury? People are working longer hours, taking on multiple jobs, and still barely scraping by. The American dream? More like the American nightmare. Wages aren't keeping up. Despite the insane cost of living, wages have stagnated. Companies are making record profits, but where's that money going? Certainly not to the hard-working employees who are actually generating that profit. CEOs and executives are getting richer, while the average worker is left wondering how they're going to pay next month's rent. Let's be clear, the minimum wage is a disgrace. It hasn't kept pace with inflation, and it's nowhere near enough to live on. It's time for a reality check. People deserve a living wage, not crumbs from the table of the ultra-wealthy. The wealth gap is growing. Speaking of the ultra-wealthy, let's talk about the wealth gap. The rich are getting richer, and the poor are getting poorer. It's like living in two different worlds. On one side, you have billionaires with more money than they could ever spend in a lifetime. And on the other side, you have families struggling to afford basic necessities. This isn't just an economic issue, it's a moral one. How can we justify such disparity in wealth and resources? How can we sleep at night knowing that so many people are suffering while a select few hoard unimaginable wealth? The broken job market. Then there's the job market. It's a mess. Unemployment rates might be low, but the quality of those jobs is another story. Many of the available jobs are low-paying, part-time, or offer no benefits. People are forced into unstable gig work or temporary contracts with no job security. Even those with good jobs aren't safe. Layoffs are rampant, and job security is a thing of the past. It's a constant cycle of anxiety and uncertainty. How can anyone build a future in such a volatile job market? Education and student debt. Let's not forget about education and student debt. Higher education is supposed to be a pathway to better opportunities, but instead, it's become a financial trap. Students are graduating with mountains of debt and entering a job market that doesn't pay enough to justify the cost of their degrees. The burden of student debt is crushing an entire generation. People are delaying major life milestones like buying a home, starting a family, or even just moving out of their parents' house because they're so bogged down by debt. It's a crisis, and it's infuriating that it's been allowed to reach this point. Government failures. What's our government doing about all this? Not nearly enough. We hear promises and grand speeches, but where's the action? Where are the policies that actually help people? It feels like those in power are more interested in playing political games than in solving real problems. Bailouts for big corporations, tax cuts for the wealthy. But what about us? What about the everyday people who are struggling to get by? We need leaders who will fight for us, not just for the interests of the elite. And don't even get me started on healthcare. It's a disaster. People are going bankrupt over medical bills, skipping necessary treatments because they can't afford them, and living in constant fear of getting sick. Healthcare should be a basic human right, not a privilege for those who can afford it. The fact that so many people have to choose between paying for medication or putting food on the table is beyond unacceptable. It's a moral failure of our society that needs to be addressed immediately. Let's not overlook the mental toll this economic stress takes on people. Anxiety, depression, burnout. These are becoming all too common as people struggle to cope with financial pressures. It's not just about the money, it's about the constant stress and uncertainty that wears people down. In conclusion, we deserve better. We deserve an economy that works for everyone, not just the rich and powerful. We deserve fair wages, affordable living costs, quality health care, and an education system that doesn't trap us in debt. It's time to stand up, speak out, and demand change. We can't sit back and accept this as the status quo. We need to hold our leaders accountable, push for policies that benefit the many, not the few, and fight for a fairer, more just economy. Thanks for listening. If you're as fired up about this as I am, let's keep the conversation going. Comment below with your thoughts, share this video, and let's make some noise. We're in this together, and together we can make a difference. Until next time, stay strong and keep fighting for what's right.